Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. This is the Market Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto and you need to make money in crypto or stay out of the way of the bear, then subscribe to this channel. Turn on the alerts bell so you know when we're going live, right? And of course, if you like the content, please give us a thumbs up. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a late start today, all right? Because, you know, this market's just been going down, 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 right? And we have to figure out how I can help you in kind of a late stage bear market strategy, or really in a late stage crash strategy. That's the best case scenario. All right. The worst case scenario is that they're going to do the last rally and then it's all really going to go. So we're witnessing, I believe, the crypto version of 2008, right? Where Luna, blows up and that becomes, kind of like the run on the banks, right? That, TVL and Luna is down a lot today. So in this video, we're going to cover Bitcoin TA, Ethereum TA, right? We're going to cover all your altcoins. We're going to cover Luna via news articles so you can get a flavor for what's happening, right? And then I'm going to go through some in-depth work that I did with my quant department, right? So if you want to hear about the possibility of a bounce, or you want to know, hey, is this crash going to continue? Right now, this channel and people who have been watching it have known, right, since March. Like in March, I said, if you got to make money in crypto, do it now, because when sell in May and go away comes around, it's not going to be pretty, right? And with the exception of the people who joined the stream, I didn't get that much traction. All right, so now that the market's got everyone's attention, which, for me, historically, that's typical, right? Like, I'm like, look, and everybody goes, and then, boom. Okay, now that we're in the middle of, boom, I'm going to tell you what to do next. So let's start by welcoming everybody on the stream. Okay, Crypto Lion here from Arkansas, welcome. The HP Supreme Crypto from New York, Driftless goes, whoa, right? Like, somebody pull up on this horse and make it stop running away. Bubba's here, Aiken, right? John Stewart, okay? The market is gone. All right, we'll talk about that. Yasir from Poland, Louisiana. Bear Cave, Wisconsin is here. Go Pack. All right. Kingsley's noting near outperformance. Bangalore, India up like way in the middle of the night. Okay. Lawson says, Bill, save us, start the bounce. Well, I'm trying to help out with the blue cap today. Okay. Somebody's saying, bear is for the brave. It certainly is. It certainly is. This is going to be the part of this down move where volatility and trading is going to be for tough people, right? But I'm going to get you ready. So we have Detroit, right? We have MB is here. Andre, hey, yo, Taz is here. All right, I wanted to make sure I waited for Taz to get in here. Jamaica is here. Andre, Bull Runner, right? Jordan, Dreamster checking in from Wisconsin. Thank you. All is well in Texas. We have Belgium, North Carolina, right? Houston, Texas. Estonia is here. All right, folks, right? The Bears have dropped the hammer, drop, drop, drop. Now we got to figure out what to do. So without any more talking, here comes your market update. What now? Now, this is going to be like I'm working it out while talking to you. So I don't know for sure what's going to happen next. I suspect we're in the middle of a crash. So let's start with that, right? There's a difference between a bear market and just, boom, a crash, right? Where they just take the market up by the hind legs and, that's it, right? Crash is different than bear market, okay? So right now, we're in a crash. We're either at the midpoint of a crash or there's going to be another rally and then the real crash starts. So let me say that again. Either we're in the middle of a crash or there's going to be a rally and then the real crash is going to start. So let's jump into the charts so you can figure out what to do next. Now, for people who are new, let's go over the anatomy of a crash. All right. First, you be aware of the failed rally. That was like ETH 3,200 or 3,500. Then it was don't feed the bear. Okay. There are huge reversals that can occur in these type of markets where they're all the way down and they come all the way back. Okay. A lot of people want to FOMO in because it looks like a reversal candlestick. And when you buy those rallies, you feed the bear because when it turns and goes lower, okay, you have another problem, which is part 3, right? It's the fear of being short. The market goes down and everyone's like, ooh, I'm not going to get caught in that other stuff that fed the bear. So I can't get short and I'm not selling here because it'll probably go back up. And then it starts to stabilize. And then the deadliest part is we're all going to make it, right? Everyone starts to say, all right, it's going to be okay. Okay. And then that's the first part of the crash, right? Then after the first part of the crash, everybody wants to say, okay, it's over. And they want to just walk away and pretend that it's not happening. It's called don't turn your back on the bear, right? That was last week, right? Last week was like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Let's just ignore it. Okay. And then the market took everything that was outperforming like ETH, and then it was boom. Okay. Now, the next stage is the last rally. There really was no rally over the weekend. I mean, there kind of was there was a point where Near and Solana were up on the day at one point, but there was no, I don't know, there's no green action. So was that little green the last rally, or is there going to be another big one? The answer is, I don't know. But what I do know is that once you get 7 or 8, in other words, if you get 8 down days, or you get 7 of 8 down days, or 7 to 8 down weeks, you can get a 1929 mega crash. Now, equities have circuit breakers. Crypto does not. So in sum, either there's one more rally left and then crash, or it's just going to sit here, wait, and then do a smaller crash. So what I'm trying to tell you is if it rallies from here, so right now it's 3 p.m. on May 9th. So if there's any kind of rally between now and say the next 24 hours, that would actually be the most bearish outcome. That's your final chance to get out, because then the sort of 8-day countdown could start from there. All right. So it's like, beware of the last rally, especially if the last rally is big. If the last rally has already occurred, maybe we got 2 more days of this and then we're done. Okay. So let's go through some numbers and try to make sense of this. This is October 1987 in stocks. The top was in August and the crash started October 6th. Okay. So the way it works is we're looking for 7 of 8 down days on a daily chart before it just goes, right? We're researching prior crashes using my esteemed colleagues in the quant department. All right. Now, what you'll notice here is on day 5, there was a green day. So let's describe 87 verbally. The market went down for 4 days. Then it bounced. Then it went down another 4 days. That 4 days was the mega crash. Okay, let's look at the Bitcoin crash from 2020. Okay, you had 4 down days. Then you had like a little small green candle, and then whoosh, it was gone, right? It lost half of its value. Okay, so when you get that little rally, okay, sometimes you can have, crashes. We're going to have a crash one way or the other. The question is, how big is it? Now, try to wrap your head around this. The Bitcoin crash from 2020, that's the small crash. That's the best case scenario. The best case scenario is that the market winds up reversing and going up today, or there's a little green candle tomorrow. And then it's lights out. Okay? The bigger the rally, if there is a rally, the bigger the rally, the more violent the next, say, 2 weeks are going to be. Now, here's ETH. So day 1 was May 1st. Okay? That was after, everyone kind of did the we're all going to make it trade. Okay? And then it just started to go down and down and down. And right now we're at day 5. So if you go back to 87 and you go back to 2020 in Bitcoin, this is supposed to be the up day, right? It's down like 10%. This is supposed to be the up day. Now, who knows if it comes back or not? That would certainly be interesting. Okay, but if it doesn't come back, we're probably looking at like 3 more days where it just goes, boom, boom, boom. Right? My guess is that would, I'll tell you where that takes you. All right. Now, if there is a rally, okay, things might reset itself, but the rally allows you for an opportunity to get out, and it also could allow for a much bigger crash. You could reset this like 8-day count. All right. So we'll see what happens. So let's review in ETH. The best case scenario is 3 more down days. The worst case scenario is a rally and then 8 down days after that for our guys out there on TikTok. Okay, let's look at stocks. Stocks, it's not a disaster. This is the 3rd down day. So, who knows? Maybe stocks bounce and then the crash starts from there. Or maybe there's 5 more down days in equities. Now we're looking at ETH weekly. Let's start talking about downside price targets in the event of a crash, because this is the new game, right? Everyone's going to be bearish. Everyone's going to be like, okay, where am I putting my bids? Well, let me explain this to you. When you're in this type of environment, everybody thinks they're going to put bids at a certain level, and the market winds up going a lot lower than that. So I think if ETH is below 2,200, there's risk of it losing half of its value. It lost half. Bitcoin lost half of its value in 2020. And that was before the Fed was going to start printing, right? The Fed is definitely not printing. They're pulling money out. So if I told you crypto could lose half of its value from here, you'd be like, oh, well, Bill, you're crazy. Okay, well, they told me I was crazy when I was like, don't feed the bear. So in your head, you have to start asking yourself about your portfolio. Could I tolerate 50% down from here? Right? That's 50%. Can you tolerate that from here? Or 50%, right? Now, Bitcoin, a little bit better news, right? So there's a lot of support at 28. There's a lot of support at 25. And everybody's going to have bids at 20. Okay? The worst case scenario, based on some of this Fibonacci circle analysis that I'm bringing in, that's kind of like the Zen voodoo type stuff. Okay? It's lower than 14K. Let's put it that way. Now, just in case you haven't heard about this, right? Michael Saylor could get liquidated with Bitcoin below 20K. Right now, the timeline on all these things that we thought was going to happen later, they could happen either starting May 16th, or they could just happen right now. Honestly, right? I mean, I know I was all complicated earlier, but it's either going to go now or it's going to go next week, right? Just now, MicroStrategy, speaking of that, so MicroStrategy's obviously got problems. The stock is completely crashing. It's below where it was in December of 2020. This has been the canary in the coal mine, right? You've got MicroStrategy and the guys that run Luna accumulating massive amounts of Bitcoin, assuming Bitcoin was safe collateral. Okay. The market is telling you that that's not true. Okay. It may be the best cryptocurrency, but I don't know if it's the collateral people thought it was. Let me say it a different way. In 2008, people thought certain types of bonds were a good idea. They thought certain lending practices were a good idea. And then all of a sudden, they weren't. That's exactly what happened. Very simple, right? Everybody had kind of an oh moment. That's what's happening now to MicroStrategy and Luna. Now, just in case you think I forgot about this, Bored Ape featured on Elon Musk's Twitter, right? Just like Dogecoin on Saturday Night Live, right? Elon puts the top in. Love Elon, right? Thank God he's in control of Twitter. But when Elon comes out with something market related, it can create a top. Sometimes I think the guy does this on purpose, right? Bored Ape Yacht Club was at 116 when Elon put his profile pic up. I had it at I captured the screen capture at 114. Currently, it's at 89. Okay. Anybody who thinks stuff like this can't crash when you have like a liquidation event, in other words, people who think collateral is not collateral. People who think you can borrow against something, that something becomes questionable. That's what I'm really trying to tell you. That's why crypto is getting rocked. That's why all the guys on crypto Twitter who are good at trading, they keep putting bids in and they keep getting stopped out because they don't understand what's happening, because it's like 2008 or like 1987 or like 1929 or like all three put together, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to impress upon you without being a jerk. Now let's go to support and resistance levels, right? Just in case you're wondering about, do the guys at Token Metrics know what's up? Is it worth it to subscribe to Token Metrics? Okay, so these are the support and resistance levels done by our quant analysis team. This feature is on the site. It's going to look more like this soon. And when it is, it will not be free anymore. However, given that we're in the middle of a calamity, I'm going to carry on doing this. So let's check our AI out, right? It had 37,500 as support, right? The human eye was like, oh, well, this can't go any lower. No one's going to sell the lows, right? No one's going to get short down here at 34. And then it goes to 31, which, by the way, is where our AI had support. So, Token Metrics has 31. Everybody else has 34. And Token Metrics wins. Now, Ethereum, right? This is what I was kind of saying about, you're either going to get one more rally to come back up and test, I don't know, 2450 or something like that. Okay. Or it's just going to go right to the next support level at 1728, because that is exactly what Bitcoin did. Right? It just, once it broke a level, right? It was done. So if there's no bounce off 2200, you're probably looking at 1728. If there is a bounce off 2200, you could actually be looking at a much, much bigger down move if it turns around. So the best case scenario, just to like try to hone this in, and again, I'm trying to work it out with you. The best case scenario in ETH is that it just continues to puke to 1728. And then that might end it. But if this thing turns around and rallies, then the next move is going to be a lot bigger and probably go way past 1728. Way past. Okay, Luna. Okay, so Luna has support between 43 and 49. So that's the good news, right? Right? That's the good news. The bad news is it's probably going to get there, right? And there may be an overshoot of 43, right? Maybe an overshoot of 43. Okay. But I guess, this proves the point that Luna had support at 74. I did not want to buy it at 98 or 88. Okay. If this sort of stops at 49 and bounces, mainly because it's all over the media, and we'll go into that, right? So the media has finally picked up on it. And a lot of times when the media picks up on it, it might be over for the moment. Okay. But again, you're watching 49 in Luna. Now, Solana. Okay. So listening to a lot of bullshit, about Solana NFTs on crypto Twitter. Everybody playing the Moon Boy game in that stuff. And I'm just looking at it like, there's always a reason for bears to continue to hunt down bulls. Like, bulls just won't give it up. That's why crashes happen, right? So the whole market's falling down around it over the weekend. Everyone's chasing Solana NFTs. Everyone's trying to buy Solana, okay? And I get it, but if Solana takes out 66, there's nobody home until 36. And, you can say, all right, Bill, well, that's BS, and I'm going to spare you going back to the Bitcoin and ETH charts because it's happening all across markets. So I understand if people want to trade. I understand. I want people to have fun in crypto. But this is not the time to be messing around. When you see people, when you see people going, oh my God, I'm having so much fun being bullish, or, Bored Ape or any of these NFTs are going to be a buy soon. That's not how crashes work. Crashes wipe everybody out, right? Everybody. Okay. So I'm trying to protect everybody, right? The Solana NFT guys, the people who are listening to this, the people who are hopefully watching the video, because like I said, folks, this is mid-crash at best, right? At worst, there's going to be a rally and then it's going to start. Okay, Avalanche. So the good news is there is support in Avalanche between 40 and 33. The bad news is if Avalanche cracks, in other words, you may be asking yourself, it's like, okay, Bill, how would it look or how would it work if there was a rally and then down? Well, that's how it would look in Avalanche, right? Avalanche could go and stop at 40 or 33. But if Avalanche went through 33, it would just disappear and go to 9. That was the 2021 lows, right? Now, where is the market if Avalanche is at 9, right? Where is the market if ETH is at 1728? Where would the market be if ETH went past 1728? Now you're like, Bill, that's awful. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's awful. You might say, Bill, that's crazy. Maybe it's crazy. But ETH at 1728 isn't crazy. ETH at 1728 is the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is unspeakable. I can't even calculate it yet. Okay, I'm working on it with our quant guys. Okay, so near, right, is supported at 1034 and 788. Okay. If near fails at 1184, now near has underperformed, and that's been kind of a mystery given that, you know, it's a higher quality coin. However, I would not mess with near if it gets back below $10. There's support at 7, but there's nobody home below 7. So if near bounces, it could take the market with it. That sure would be interesting, okay? But I don't know that that would be bullish for the rest of the market. So you want to watch two things in near, right? You want to watch the support at 1034, okay? Okay, and then, whoops, I think this is mismarked. Let me fix this while I'm doing it. Sorry. All right, folks, we're experiencing a brief pause, a brief technical difficulties. Just stay with me and we will get right back to it. So I'm redoing the support and resistance for near. Thank you for putting up with that. So we have resistance in near at 1184 and support at 9.6. Okay. There's also support at 788. Now, if near goes up to 1184 and fails, okay, that could be the end of the entire market. Now, obviously, near has to break 788 in order to completely go to pieces. But I think this is going to tell you a lot. Near is either going to start a rally, okay, or the rally in near, if it stops, will tell you that the big one's coming. So near is going to tell you a lot. Stay tuned. We'll go through the DeMark work. Now this, oh my God. Matic was supposed to stop at 1.3. I actually put up it could go to 62 cents. Somebody called me up in the middle of the weekend and said, hey, Bill, should I just try to kill this thing looking for 62 cents? I'm like, you know, try to sell rallies. Don't be greedy on the short side. And then it crashes. Bulls and bears lose money in bear markets. Let me say that again. Bulls and bears lose money in bear markets. Everybody loses money. Even though I had the call in Matic, I had trouble sort of hinting at somebody on how to trade it. So if you're getting effed up out there, you have lots of company, including me. Okay, let's talk about Cardano. Cardano is in, you know, the danger zone, right? As much as we want to love Cardano, if it's not above 84 cents, it can go to 40, right? This has happened in every asset class that we've charted like this, right? So nobody wants to say anything bad about Cardano. Cardano's got a specific exhibit coming up at Consensus in June. And I'm afraid of where this market is going to be by the time Consensus in June shows up. I'm actually hoping that Consensus is the bottom, right? But the question is, at what level is the bottom coming in at? Now let's talk XRP. So for XRP fans, there is some good news, right? And unfortunately, I got another mislabeled chart. So let me just fix that right now. So there's support at 63 cents and there's support in XRP at 43 cents. Okay. My producer's going to kill me. Okay. So for XRP, you know, every 10 cents on the way down, there's pretty decent support. So no one wants to see XRP at 47 cents, but at least XRP's chart structure doesn't show like Avalanche does that it's like one breakdown away from completely vanishing. There's support on the way down in XRP. Now, Phantom, oh my God, this thing, right? They're supported 58 cents, right? And below that, it's 15 cents. So this thing has been a leader on the way down. I kept saying, wow, I'm not sure this can go any lower. And then it broke $1.15. People did turn your back on the bear. And the next thing you know, it's at 60 cents. Let's look at this crash idea on a weekly chart. This is S&P weekly, SPX. So this is week 6. Okay. So that means it could be week 6, week 7, week 8, and then the crash. So this idea that stocks may be like approaching the danger zone means in crypto that if there is any kind of a rally, that rally probably needs to get sold, even if it's huge, because this structure is a warning that equities, again, are like mid-crash. So we're either mid-crash or the crash is coming. Like frightening when I talk to my quant guys about the history of crashes in the past. So straight down like 2020 is preferable. Any type of relief rally in crypto is going to get sold. Right? It's going to get sold because the next round lower could be so devastating. Like it kind of made me like a little shaken up when I saw a lot of this math. So again, point is stocks mid-crash. This is like the warm-up. Same thing in Bitcoin on the weekly chart. You know, it's 8 down weeks and then boom, right? Bitcoin week 6. So there could still be a bounce on the daily chart, right? But the bigger the bounce, if this is mid-crash, the more violent it could be later. Now, one thing that is scaring me, right, is that our all exchange index. So this is our crash warning meter on Token Metrics. Now, we use artificial intelligence, right? But we're still human beings and we have to read what the AI is giving us. Now, as of now, the AI has not moved to all cash. In the past, when there's really big down moves, right? The all exchange index, okay, runs out the door and starts going into cash, stable coins, gold, oil, whatever. It hasn't done that yet. And what does that tell us? It tells us that the machine is not used to reading, right, an environment like 87, right, where interest rates, you know, the value of the dollar versus the yen gets, you know, violently out of whack, and then that blows up risk assets, right? There's no crypto precedent for 87, right? That's why you look on crypto Twitter over the weekend, and I'm just going, no one understands this, right? And I'm getting 6K views per day, right? And I appreciate everyone who's listening, right? But the people don't understand it. The computers don't understand it. And by the time everyone does understand it, it's gone, right? And it's gone so far down that the people who think they're going to sell their house and buy crypto, that's a great idea. But this thing could go so far that you won't be able to sell your house. You might want to buy crypto at the prices that are there, but you won't be able to do it, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you about what crashes are like, right? So, no, this is not pretty news, okay? It's either a small crash or a really big one. Either way, you have got an opportunity to protect yourself, and I strongly suggest you do so, okay? I strongly suggest you do so, all right? And that is the market update. All right, let's get out of PowerPoint. Okay, much love to my producer for putting up with PowerPoint errors. So let's get in the chat here and let's just start talking to people, and then we're going to go through everything. Okay. All right. So Wookie Wants a Cookie says, you know, I don't think we're going to Vegas anytime soon. Okay, that may be true. Okay. Is Luna going to blow up and go to zero? Well, I don't know, but whoever's holding the Bitcoin behind Luna, you know, just like with Sailor, you know, are they leveraged? you got to start questioning everything at this point, right? Liar, liar, pants on fire in Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin may be the greatest thing ever, but when people get arrogant, okay, how long, when wife change, how long do you think the bear market would last? Okay. Well, I don't think it's a bear market. I think it's a crash. So I think this is all going to be over by July 4th. Now that sounds good, but it's not. It's not. Right? The worst case scenario, the best case scenario is we're done mid-June. The worst case scenario is, you know, something happens July 4th and then I don't know. Like I can't get my head wrapped around this. I can't even give you the downside targets we're talking about. Okay. Okay. Matt, who is saying is the worst case scenario if war gets declared. I think the worst case scenario is if war spreads to cyber or anything else. Okay. What do you do with gold? We'll talk about that. And again, you know, I know this guy. There's a guy who works at Token Metrics. I think this guy literally knows everything. Seriously. Right? He's the answer man for the answer man. Okay. His take was everything is going to get sold and then some things are going to come back quickly. All right. Physical commodities may be the thing that comes out quickly, right? Out of the abyss, right? I'm kind of also hoping that crypto follows physical commodities out of the abyss. The only question is, where's the crash going to be worse? Equities or crypto, right? I'm hoping there are certain components of crypto that are going to come back quickly. All right. Somebody is saying that they appreciate my work. I appreciate you. Somebody says, wake me up in July. Why the blue cap today? Well, the blue cap is on because I'm just trying to not make you upset. The point's been made, right? If you go back, you watch all the other videos, the point's been made, right? Like, you know, if you got to tell people that this is either the middle of a crash or there's going to be a rally and then the real crash is going to start, you know, I'd have to paint my face red to drive that point home. And I tried to figure that out. And, you know, we're just going to keep it professional. Okay. Somebody for the blow up votes equities, right? Food, oil, medicine. Okay. Okay, a lot of people asking for helium, right? Almost all coins have broke support, okay? That's true, right? Miami is here, welcome, right? And a lot of people asking about Luna. And I do hear somebody, I saw it go by briefly. Somebody said, nobody wants to hear the truth. Let them learn the hard way, okay? And then I believe he ended with when Lambo. Okay. Well, I think in this market, the only way you're going to get a Lambo is if you're already positioned short. Okay. So let's go. Okay. So let's go to the news. We're going to do something different. All right. Okay. So let's start with an update. So ETH on an 8-hour chart. Well, actually, let's just leave on the daily. So 2,200 we have is support. Okay. That's where ETH has got support. Now let's go to Terra Luna. Okay. Barron's has picked up on this. Barron's is legacy media. Okay. Why another smaller crypto is partly to blame for Bitcoin prices. So this may be adding to the fire, but it's in Barron's. All right. But as is the case with 2008, okay, if you look at total value locked in Luna, okay, basically everybody is pulling their money out, which is the same thing as a run on the banks. Okay. This is like what happened in 2008. Everyone started pulling their money out. Everyone started pulling their money out of other banks and even the banks that were good. So there is a possibility of a chain reaction. And this is going to be the litmus test of the DeFi world, right? The DeFi financial system is, I don't know, it's just a reinvention of the legacy financial system, except there's no Fed to stabilize it if people lose their minds. That's why I'm saying we're either going to have a small crash, or there's going to be a hope rally, and then that's the end. Part of what could create the end is the collateral, Bitcoin, disappears as people are trying to pull their money out. Okay. So, they're struggling to maintain the peg. And somewhere in here, I saw that they were moving. All right. On Monday, LFG, that's the Luna fund, announced it would be loaning $750 million worth of Bitcoin, right, to UST to trading firms in order to help protect the peg. Do Kwon, the founder of TFL, said the move was aimed at increasing liquidity around the peg. So that means he is depending on the value of Bitcoin to save the stablecoin market. Okay? Think about that. Just let that settle in, right? I just got done showing you what our quant department is talking about in Bitcoin. And these guys are betting that Bitcoin will stabilize their financial system that they built. Just like, MicroStrategy is betting that their Bitcoin will hold in value and that their firm or their customers or the people who have lent them money or their bondholders won't lose their minds. Okay, so if you're like, I don't understand why UST is wrecking the market, I don't know if it's UST or the fact that all these guys who have got Bitcoin and people are starting to question Bitcoin as collateral. A house is collateral. But even in 2008, people were like, oh my God, I can't sell my house. So is it collateral? So it's not personal against Bitcoin. It's just that when people get really upset and you have a crash, everybody's assumptions about the world, they go away. That's why they feed the bear. They turn their back on the bear. They have, we're all going to make it. Right? That's even why sometimes you have the last rally. ETH may hit 2,200 and bounce. It may. Right? If it does, you're talking about a world-ending crash when that rally stops based on some of the math that we're trying to do. Okay? So that's where we are. All right, now let's get into Luna. So on a daily chart, I've got these bands that I draw. Okay, there is DeMark support at 46. Okay, let's maybe readjust the bands. Let's just do a little DeMark work. So we want to welcome everybody for the request part of the stream. Okay. We appreciate everybody who's been here. All right. And then we're going to make some changes to the moving average envelope. My God, I don't think I can change it anymore. Okay. All right. So the good news is for people who like Luna, Luna has support at 46. Okay. The bad news is the DeMark work shows that this 13 bottom obviously didn't work. Okay. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. All right, so here's Luna on a 4-hour chart. All right, so you could have 4 more down bars. 4 more down bars, but there's pretty good support at 46. So I don't think you get hysterical in Luna unless it takes out 46. Okay, now we're going to start looking at 90-minute charts, right? Now, if near takes out like 993 or 999 or $10, right? Then you've probably got, a terrible ending for today. A lot depends on near. Okay. Avalanche, you're probably going to have a 9 bottom. The problem is if you get a 9 bottom, so for everyone who's new, DeMark is a first quant technical analyst. So if there's a trend, let's forget the range theory. If there's a trend, he'll count a certain set of conditions. When it gets to that ninth time, like, I don't know, like the sun shines 9 days in a row, right? The sun shines 9 days in a row. There should be a very cloudy day coming next, right? So down, up, change in the weather, and then 13 straight days of the same weather, right? Or 13 new days or new lows in this case. So if you get 1 through 9, then you get a change in the weather, then you get more of the same, more of the trend. So in Avalanche, yeah, it might go back to 47, but there's no one home until 31, at least not on the DeMark charts. Now, last week, we talked a lot about this, right? We talked about what happens when DeMark signals don't work. So here's ApeCoin. Here's your 13 and your 9 bottom, right? But as you would remember, right, this could have been the last rally. This could have been it, these little green candles. So ApeCoin has got a 9 bottom and a 13 bottom, and I'm guessing you're going to see buyers below 10, right? Just to give you the full picture in ApeCoin, right? These bands that I draw stopped it up here, and, it doesn't seem to make much sense to be selling it down here, okay? Now, if these 13 signals don't work, right? So what you're seeing there going is like, Bill, you got to tell me what to do, man. You're the crystal ball guy. This is why I had this 10 parts to a crash thing. I wasn't doing all that to make noise. I was doing that because that's when you can plan. That's when the trend is predictable. Now, this thing's like the genie out of the bottle. It's like the Frankenstein monster walking through the streets. You don't know what this is going to do now. So you could have ApeCoin hold at 13, but ApeCoin's not going to hold. I'm sorry, it's not going to hold with the 13 bottom. It's not going to hold if people who are long Bored Ape start leverage selling ETH and start unloading on this thing to try to protect their investments. All right. So, but for the moment, let's try to be chill, right? Because there may be one more rally, and that if that occurs, that will be your last opportunity to get out, right? Like there's one more rally and you do not get out, I cannot help you. Now, that may not happen, okay? We have to wait to see if the DeMark signals work. If they don't work, that is as telling as if they do work, okay? Now, as you might know, Algorand fans were happy over the weekend. Algorand put in a 13 bottom and actually went up as everything else was going down. So happy for our friends who like Algorand, except unfortunately, everybody came in at the old high and sold it, right? Nobody wanted to pay higher prices. They loved it at that 55 discount, right? But these guys who were selling at $1 turned around and started selling it 75 cents. Okay, now let's go to helium, okay? When this is over, I think this is going to be one of the things to own. Like when this ends, this is going to be the thing that you want to have. The question is, where is that? All right. Now, there's ample evidence that, helium might hold 12 because of the 13 bottom, right? I mean, it doesn't get any cleaner or clearer than this from a DeMark point of view, right? There's the 1 through 9. There's kind of the counter trend bounce, and then boom, all the way down to a 13 bottom. Okay. So again, for helium, one of two scenarios. It either comes back above 12 and there's a rally, and then you have to decide, or it's all going to give out and go to 4, right? It's probably going to wind up below 8 at some point anyway. The only question is, how violent is it going to be? It will be less violent if they just dropped it now. If they rally it and then they drop it, well, that's going to be ugly. Okay. Is it a financial black hole? Okay. Yes, it is. Yes. Right. It's the black hole, right? It's like, cryptocurrencies come in, but they don't come out, right? The only question is it over in 3 days, or does it just get rolling like in 4 or 5 days? That's it. That's the question. Okay. So somebody wants to know what's the lowest Litecoin can go. I'm afraid to ask. Okay. So the worst question you want to ask yourself is what's the lowest it can go? Because when you have crashes, it always goes way past what people think. Like all I can listen to on Telegram is, oh, I have my bids in here. Oh, I'm putting my bids in there. Okay, so $61 is one level in Litecoin. Okay. I don't want to say that's the lowest point it can go to. Let me see if I can get something up here on DeMark to get like a downside target. Or some levels below the market. All right. So I see a level at about 70 and there's one at 61. Stay tuned with the show to find out what the downside targets could be in the coin you care about. Okay. What happened to Luna? Okay. Well, what happened to Luna is the collateral behind their stable coin is Bitcoin. So if you're issuing money to people that's backed by Bitcoin and everybody starts to get worried Bitcoin's going to fall out of bed, you have a problem. Luna is like its own little banking system. They're paying people 20% interest. One of the things that people don't realize about getting 20% interest, they're like, wow, this is fun. Yeah, but you're taking a huge amount of risk. And nobody was thinking about the risk that they were taking. No one really understood it. The risk you were taking in Luna was that there was a problem with Bitcoin. There was a problem with the whole concept of cryptocurrencies because something happened in currencies, fiat, and interest rates that nobody in crypto has ever seen. Matter of fact, most people in equities have never seen. It's only us old guys who know this stuff. Okay? So we have QNT. I have 63 as a support point. All right. I don't know. I have to check the bands in QNT to see how well these bands I drew have worked in the past. I mean, they worked back in January, right? But there was an overshoot. Okay. So, the best scenario for Luna, for QNT, is that they just puke it down to 63 and that's it. However, you have to start asking yourself, if it doesn't rally, like somebody's talking about DCA. Okay, DCA is reasonable. Like if there's no rally and then you have another down day, and then down 40%, a DCA strategy would make sense starting, say, 2 or 3 days from now, right? Like if you don't mind having the range that you're buying it be 50, 60%, then yeah, DCA makes sense. DCA makes more sense, I think, once it's established there's not going to be any rally and people start panicking, right? Once people start panicking, you might be able to do all your DCA in 2 days. Okay. VeChain. Okay, so VeChain went below support at 4.5 cents. I don't know where VeChain stops. I have these bands that I drew at, roughly 3 cents. They're experimental. Okay, I think the biggest point that you can get in VeChain is that the 13 and the 9 bottom did not work. Now, the good news is that there's support at 0.387. So in a lot of these cryptos, there might be support here. Okay. You have support in ETH at 2260. I'm sorry, at 2200. Let's just take a look at an 8-hour chart, because let's face it, ETH was the best looking thing headed into today. So 2200 is, an interesting level. So we'll see how that does. Okay. Is Moon River dead? Okay. So I don't think anything is dead. I think everything is crashing, right? Again, the question is, when will my coin bounce, or will it bounce? And then what do I do? So when you have speculative assets, is Moon River dead? Well, it looks like people are giving up, and you've got at least 2 more down days. Okay. I can't even tell you where DeMark support is because I can't find it yet. Okay. Will Luna lose its peg? Okay. Everything is getting rugged. Okay. Victory parade speech. Ukraine war will extend. Okay. So there's a lot of fluid geopolitical news going on, right? Okay, Esther, I really appreciate that. Giving me some love there. So you said panic sell all. No. What I said is, at this point, you have to ask yourself, can I tolerate 50% down? If you can't tolerate that, then you have to reduce risk. Okay. Now, if it rallies, I think you would be insane not to adjust risk given what's going on. Like the market is telling you, okay, somebody's asking for Uniswap. Somebody said world ending. Nice. All right. Well, they thought it was the end of the world in 1987. So here's an 87 story real quick. There was a guy in 87, right, who after witnessing equities going down 25% in one day, the guy left work and he went out and he bought a gold bar and just put it in his house on his kitchen table because he thought the whole world was going to end. Normally, when people act like that, it's over. I don't think we're quite there yet. We're not there yet. People are just like waking up to the fact that there's a problem with the Bitcoin collateral or Bitcoin as collateral. And they could also be waking up to the fact that there could be an issue in the DeFi system. But remember, right, go back over here. It's front page news in the media. So a lot of times when it's front page news, right, maybe you get the bounce. Now, the bad news about the bounce is it probably leads to a bigger move down later, but it gives you the chance to move around and get something done. Okay. Uniswap, like many things, okay, this is a daily chart. Okay. There's a 13 bottom today. So either Uni is going to go down to 5 or it's going to hold at 6. I'm guessing the fate of the world rests with ETH at 2,200 and Bitcoin at 30. Now, somebody was asking, I think, about gold. Okay, let's check that. Okay, so gold is only down 1.5%. That's good, right? Everything else is down a lot more. Okay, junior gold mining stocks, though, I mean, one of the things that our chief said to me today is he's like, when you're in these crashes, it's not sell what you want to, it's sell what you can. Sell what you can. You know, if you can get liquidity for it, sell it. And that's what's happening in junior gold mining stocks. I don't think people dislike junior gold mining stocks. They're just panicking. Okay. Now, if you look at gold over Bitcoin, okay, gold over Bitcoin is breaking out, meaning Bitcoin is doing poorly and gold is doing better on a relative basis. All right. And there's a point to all this, right? So it's easy to make fun of gold, right? Especially for crypto people. There's this one guy on Twitter who's an absolute jerk. I believe his name is Peter Schiff, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And he's always saying gold is going to go up and Bitcoin's going to go down. And it's fun to watch him go back and forth with, like, you know, Benjamin Cohen and Pump and all these guys. And, you know, maybe I need to learn a lesson. Maybe it's better to be kind of a jerk, right? But I mean, this guy keeps saying it over and over and over again that Bitcoin is no good and gold is the real collateral. Well, now this guy actually has a chart behind his theory, right? Because if this is the gold over Bitcoin ratio, or the gold Bitcoin ratio, okay, it's breaking out. It means more downside for Bitcoin relative to gold, right? And guess who's got half the gold on the planet? Putin. Okay, so not what we want to see in the world today. Okay, what is the lowest that Polkadot can go? All right. So let's take a chance. Okay, what is the lowest that Polkadot can go? I don't know. I can't even say it. Let's go to DeMark. Right. Actually, I know what I'm going to go to. We'll do this, and then I'm just going to show you something that may help you bring things into perspective. So I have these experimental bands at around $10.07, right? Polkadot would benefit if it was above 11.5. Okay. Now I'm going to stop sharing this and share a different report. So just in case you think that because the market is going down, you don't need crypto research, one of the things that people don't realize is that Token Metrics, that we write reports of all kinds. This is my report, but there are 6 other ones that come out during the week, right? I think you can get our ratings page or our index page for not a lot of money, and you can also sign up to get these reports. So over the weekend, right, I drew this thing. I called it NASDAQ 2000. So this chart is NASDAQ from 2000 to 2003. Okay. And right up here is where they fed the bear, right? It was a 2% reversal off a 50 basis point rate hike. It's only happened once in the last 40 years, and that's the last time it happened. It's also the last time the Fed hiked 50. And this is what happened to speculative assets after the Fed dropped the hammer and told everybody they wanted risk assets down. Now, NASDAQ went from 5,000 to 1,250. 5,000 to 1,250. So when it was at 5,000, nobody thought it was going to 1,250, right? They might have known it was going down, but nobody thought 1250. So unfortunately, when you look at these altcoins, you have to ask yourself, can I afford to lose 90% from where I'm at right now? I'm not picking on Polkadot, okay? But I am saying, you know, you have to, nobody thought on that 13 bottom that Polkadot was going to turn around and go from 15 to 10. Now you're basically praying for any kind of a rally to get out of this, or to reduce risk, or get somewhere where you're comfortable, right? Okay, so how long, Dean is asking, how long before all the markets go through this superstorm? Any idea? Weeks, months? Okay, so good question, right? I basically think it's like July 4th. I think it's weeks, right? You know, it's either 3 weeks or 10 weeks. Right. Either way, you know, prudence demands that you protect yourself. Like, you know, NFA now. Like, if you haven't listened, it's okay. No one ever listens. No one listened when I worked at Goldman. I got a lot of love from my boss, like when it was over, that me and the other chart guy were the ones who helped navigate the move. Even though our fundamental guys and our economists knew that housing was going to blow up. They knew housing was going to blow up, but they didn't see it the way we saw it on the charts, right? And I'm trying to give you the perspective so that you can make the best decisions possible, because no one listens on the first round. Why do you think I have that little step 1 through 10 thing? Okay. So 45 cents in Phantom is the next support level. So Phantom is already down a lot.
Bill, you don't have your screen.
I'm not sharing. Sorry. Okay. So I have, okay, I do have the right screen up. So on Phantom, it's 45. You're going to have to go back earlier in the video, right, where we have the Token Metrics Quant team, right, their support levels. But in DeMark, it's 45 cents. Okay. You know, if that doesn't hold, then, you know, all bets are off, especially inside the DeFi system. You did not miss Zcash. Okay, one thing about Zcash, you know, it's kind of stating the obvious, right? You have to be the most careful in stuff that was up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we had this theory that you could not buy the dip once something went on a big uptrend and the token metrics grade, right? Once the token metrics grade told you to get out, right? You had to get out, right? Like, some of this stuff is working better than I could have imagined, right? So while that comes up, right, Zcash all the way up, all the way back down again, there was support at 102. If it comes back above that, great, you know, but this looks like it's just getting started on the downside, and 79 is like the support of last resort. But there is the close encounter formation, I call it, in the token metrics grade. So in token metrics, the grade shot up when Zcash was at $129, right? And then Zcash goes up to 204. And then the token metrics grade falls out of bed when Zcash is at 167. And now Zcash is at 98, right? If you have a coin and you see the close encounters formation in the token metrics grade, as they say in Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, get out. Get to the chopper, right? Get out, right? For our TikTok guys, get out, right? Token metrics, I tell people, can save you huge amounts of money. Like, even if you don't use it in the bull market, which you should, but even if you don't use it in the bull market, Token Metrics can help you not get wrecked. And if you use Token Metrics in conjunction with the live stream, that's how you make money. Okay? That's how you make money. But if there's a rally, get to the chopper. You know, I got a lot of people telling me I bought crypto and I've lost money and there's no point in selling it because, you know, who cares? Well, you know, that may be true, right? I mean, if you don't care and you're going to hold it, I mean, I guess that's okay. But, you know, there's a lot of people that saw Chainlink and Synthetics and Cardano. You know, some of that stuff went so low in 2017, 2018 that people actually put it on a ledger and just forgot about it. Once it rallied, they couldn't find it. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but I mean, you don't want to be in a situation where something crashes so bad that, I don't know, it's just psychologically, it will hurt your ability to participate in crypto going forward. When you lose all your money at once, right, it has a damaging effect, not for this move, but for the next one. You can't catch the next one. All right. So Zilliqa, you know, it looked like, you know, just around like 0.07 was the level that had a hold, and they're not that interested. Now, unfortunately, you're in this area where there's just not a lot. It's like nothing but air, right? There's nothing but air, right? You're in the air zone from this huge moonshot candle. So normally I don't make a big deal about these things, but what goes up one way goes back down the same way. So if we're checking ETH, right? So ETH is back up to 2308. So there's some hope that this might hold today, right? There's some hope that this could like get it together, and there may be a reversal or maybe an update. Okay. So I'm already prepping it, right? If they get stupid with this and take it back to unchanged because shorts got greedy, and don't forget, when the media says anything, the media is always wrong. So when the legacy media is like, oh, there's a problem in crypto, sell everything. No, I'm sorry. Let me say that again. Sorry. When the media says there's a problem in crypto, cover. When the media says everything is great in crypto, sell everything, right? So, you know, I put it on my Twitter, right? 2200 target reached, bounce possible, right? Here was the GAN work, right? So on Twitter. So we obviously we're bringing you everything because the market's blowing up, right? So there was this point over the weekend where there were these intersections of GAN lines, right? And I kept saying there's no support below 2750 until 2300, right? And it just vaporized, right? So, you know, when all forms of analysis are telling you something, you know, it can be good to pay attention. Now, from like some of the things that I put on here, you know, I don't just do GAN, although we do have some little artwork here from Kathy Crypto. Okay, but there's other stuff like this. Okay, U.S. consumers are taking on debt at a record pace. Okay. Their total debt exploded to 15.6 trillion in the fourth quarter of last year. This represents the largest quarterly rate increase since 2007. Wait, wasn't 2007 before the blowup of 2008? 2007 comes before 2008. I wonder what the burden of that debt will feel like when stagflation shows up or when there's a crash. How's everyone going to feel if they're over leveraged and then the market crashes? I don't know, but it doesn't sound good. So again, day trading says Luna up 20% in 30 minutes. So let's go back over here. Let's go to a 90-minute chart. Okay. So again, once it hits the newspaper, what happens? It goes up, right? So 13 bottom, overshoot. There'll probably be a 9 bottom in here. Everybody's going to go, everything is okay, right? So I'm going to go off this and go back to the PowerPoint for the final point, right? The final point is the first point. The final point is the first point. Part 1. Okay, that's a little bit of a hack, but I wanted to show up on the screen. Part 1, beware the failed rally. We've seen that a long time ago. Part 1, don't feed the bear, don't buy the short squeeze. Part 3, when people are afraid to be short and then people transition into we're all going to make it, that's when crashes happen. Then the market goes down and then everyone starts to ignore it. I call it the ignoring pathway. That's don't turn your back on the bear. Okay. Then the second leg of the crash happens when everybody ignores what's going on and is in denial. That's when the outperformers, like that's when Near got killed. That's when they went after Bored Ape, Luna. Okay. Then there's the last rally. Now, is this rally we're seeing now the last rally? Was the rally over the weekend the last rally? We don't know. That's why I was so hard pressed to have you pay attention to parts 1 through 7. Okay. If the last rally is some kind of like huge reversal today where everybody goes, oh, everything is okay. Well, I'm telling you right now, even if it's okay for 3 days, a rally, a big rally is worse. It's more bearish. It allows for a bigger crash. Then you have like 7 or 8 straight down days or down weeks. And then you have a 1929 style event where the whole system gets wiped out, right? 1929 was not just a stock market crash. It was so bad, it started a depression. So everyone's like, oh, it was a crash. Oh, that's nice. No, people, right? Crash means crash, which means watch your ass, okay? Now, let's go over what we've learned so far, right? We're in the late stages or mid stages of a crash, or so we hope. If there's a rally, okay, that means this whole like crash count thing could reset itself. And you could have a monster move. Now, even if you don't understand that, understand this. If there is upward price action in this market and you don't adjust risk, then I cannot help you. Now, if there is a smaller rally and then there is kind of a smaller crash that goes on over the next 3 days or say 5 days, then you've got to like psychologically ask yourself, can I handle the worst case scenario? Because the market will go 20 to 30% below the worst case scenario. And I'm not even talking about what happens if there's a bounce and then we start the crash. I can't even talk about those levels because I'll get laughed off YouTube. The point is for you, right? Think about your head. Think about your money. And if you don't care about your money, think about your head. Think about, will you be able to participate in the next crypto rally? Will you want to buy it when no one wants to buy it? Will you want to buy it when people are like, oh my God, this is dead, I'm never touching it? And you're like, oh, I would never think that. Careful with that. Okay. Manage your money, manage your head. All right. I will be here tomorrow. All right. I am going to be here all week. Right. We will go live as many times as we need to Stay tuned to Token Metrics, right? On Twitter, Token Metrics Inc., right? I'm crypto_noble, right? Don't forget about Token Metrics on TikTok, right? You know, follow us. Follow us on TikTok. This is Bill Noble. I'll see you tomorrow.